My name is Takeshi. I'm a 25-year-old who left the house as soon as he graduated. I'd never gone home, except for my grandfather's funeral.
You really don't need to go, even to say hi?
It's fine, don't worry about it. A year ago, I married Yuko without a wedding. She grew up in an orphanage and didn't have any relatives. At first, we were both a little nervous, but we both loved each other and got married. We both had personal issues with our family, so we all agreed on just getting married without a wedding. My parents loved my brother because he was going to take over the family. They never cared about me, and if anything, it was probably better for them if I left. I had a brother who was 3 years older than me, but my parents loved him. If anything, they only ever saw him as a child. They forgot about my birthday, and if I had a fever, they left me alone. My brother also started treating me like someone who was invisible and blamed me for everything. My brother went to private school while I went to public. I never had to see him, so I was actually happy about it. It wasn't like he abused me or stole things from me, but he just really wasn't involved in my life. Eventually, they only started bringing me food. I have no place in this house. I definitely felt like I was in the wrong place. So we don't need to say anything to them. If anything, I haven't even talked to them for a few years either. So we only put in our papers and got married quietly. I started working right out of high school, but I worked hard, so I made a good amount of money. After we found out Yuko was pregnant, she quit her work from home, but we were going to be fine financially. We were having a great time as newlyweds, but then one day, my family suddenly contacted me through the number that I had given them as a just in case. The person was my mom, and she was telling me about my brother's wedding.
Yuchi is getting married. It's this woman called Mariko, and she's young and beautiful. She even has a grandchild in her belly already.
According to my mom, the other side comes from a good bloodline, and they researched us and found my existence.
You apparently got married already? I didn't know and almost got embarrassed.
Like you cared. Did I need to tell you?
Anyway, if you're married, you bring your wife too. Otherwise, it'll be weird now that they know about her.
My mom wouldn't let go. Talk about aggravating. But Yuko told me that it was a good thing, and that it should be celebrated, so I said I would go. My mom shyly asked for a decent wedding celebratory gift. Read, money. I looked at Yuko and grimaced. The day of the wedding, Yuko was 4 months pregnant, but she didn't seem to have any morning sickness.
If anything, I think I might have gained a little weight.
She was more concerned about her weight. We made it to the venue, and I have no idea what my parents told my relatives, but they completely ignored me as I took my seat. I was in a terrible mood, but Yuko was very excited, so I was saved by her smile. No one spoke to us, and the wedding continued. The announcer suddenly said, "All right, we have a surprise from the bride. We're going to reunite the long-lost groom and his brother today." Huh? I was genuinely surprised and let out a screech. I looked at my brother, and he also looked pretty surprised. Frozen in place, the relatives all looked at me and said, "You better thank your brother. You did a lot of crap, right? Everyone knows about it." Everyone told me the same thing. I didn't understand what they were talking about as the announcer continued. "Apparently the brother's wife is also pregnant. Why don't we get a speech?" They saw that we weren't moving, so what looked like the bride's father and mother came and started talking to me. "I know about you. You're an excellent worker abroad, right? Your wife as well?" "What? What are you talking about?"
You were invited by a university abroad to go to the US. That's why my daughter suggested you two get reunited here for the first time in years.
Ah, that's what my parents and brothers said to the bride's parents. I understood now. But then my side of the relatives all started addressing their concerns. "He's always been a delinquent and rebellious. As soon as he graduated high school, he stole the money from the house. And that's all they heard from him, right?" I see. That's what they said to them. So they didn't want to talk to me. That also made sense now. Both sides of the relatives were all saying they didn't know as the bride grabbed my brother's hand and brought him to me.
Here, now you two are okay again.
She made my brother grab my hand. My brother's face turned a bright red, and he threw away my hand. "I didn't want to call him! I told you! It's all your fault, Takeshi! Figure it out!" He yelled and ran out of the venue. Everyone in the venue was at a loss. The bride started crying and saying,
I just wanted to have you two reunited and get along. We're both pregnant, and I figured we could all work together to raise our kid.
She was crying, and the mom was trying to help her. She had no bad intentions and figured this would bring the family back together. She just didn't understand how the real world worked. Terrible taste. The surprise was also terrible, but the reason this all happened was due to my parents. I was getting questioned by the relatives and was getting tired of it, so I asked Yuko to step outside and wait for me. I explained everything. The money that I ran away with was made up for by all the relatives who paid them back. I didn't run away with any money. I did leave the house when I graduated high school, but I live a regular life with a regular job and a regular house. I showed them my business card and explained as they started saying, it did seem a little off. My parents were being yelled at left and right from both sides of the family and looked at me for help, but I ignored them and left the venue. Afterwards, I got in a taxi going back with Yuko and headed home. I blocked my parents' phone number. After that whole event, I was able to repair some relationships with some people, and this was what I heard from them. Apparently, they had already gotten married before the wedding after they found out she was pregnant, but he just disappeared after saying he didn't like things that took too much effort. The company that my parents ran had lost all trust, and also had to pay back all of the money that they had received from the relatives, leading to the company going under. Apparently, they had also taken out other loans, and my parents went to work at a job somewhere far away. My brother's wife, on the other hand, couldn't divorce my brother since he was missing, but she was reaching term for her pregnancy, so for some reason, she showed up at my company.
I'm an only child, so I understand, but is that all it takes to break family ties?
She said she wanted me to figure something out. She was bawling, but I asked a security guard to take her away. At the time, it was a lie, but I really did get invited to go overseas for work. I now have 2 more kids, in addition to the first child Yoko and I had. Word has it that my brother was found being homeless, but it has nothing to do with me. He's always been running away from things that took effort or looked bad on him. I feel a little pity, considering he really hadn't changed since his youth.
Hey, bro, can you give me a little money? I'm kind of in a little bit of a pickle, so I could, really use your help.
Again?
I wish they would really stop this. My name is Akemi. I'm 34. I've been married to my husband, Yuichi, who is 2 years older than me, for 10 years, but...
Thank you as always, bro. I'll pay you back when I get promoted. LOL.
I know. Be careful going home.
My husband was too sweet to my sister-in-law. Emily was 32 and single. To add to it, she lived with her parents. She didn't last anywhere she worked, but she always wanted things. I thought she came out of the blue today and she has a new purse. She always shows things off to me, almost as if to brag and show me things that are out of my reach. The money that you used to buy that came out of our savings. We both worked hard, but we weren't really well off. We even talked to Emmy's parents about it. However, you don't even show us our grandkids' face and you have the gall to say that? If you don't have kids, you must have money, right?
That's right. Although you're working together, it's mostly his money, right? Is it really that crazy to give allowance to his sister?
My mother-in-law worked as a stay-at-home mom, and my father-in-law worked a government job until his retirement, and is currently working as a retired employee. They both said that it was common sense to just make more money, and we couldn't find any solutions. Most of all, the biggest problem for me was my husband. To tell you the truth, I made more money than my husband did. Additionally, my mother-in-law would always talk to me about how I'm the reason that we don't have grandkids, but the reason we couldn't have a child was because of my husband.
Please don't tell my parents!
I had to listen to my husband, and I was working hard to make it so that he could get fertility treatments. At first, he was giving Emmy allowances without telling me. However, it started going into our savings.
Sorry, this is all I can give you this month.
What? Half of last month?
This continued for a while, so I asked him after I couldn't figure out where the money was going. I was excited that once I figured it out, and he knew that I knew, he would stop this, but...
Now that she knows, you can give me more now.
If anything, things got worse. They continued on for about 10 years. It wasn't just my husband anymore. I was starting to get too old to have kids. I started getting depressive. Maybe I should just get a divorce. I still love him, but I'm so tired. My husband was pretty upset after seeing me sigh all the time and not talking to him as much, but...
I'm sorry, Akemi! I was in the wrong!
One day, he came back from work and suddenly started begging for forgiveness. Huh? What's going on?
You know how you're really quiet recently? I was kind of just upset a little bit, and I started complaining when I went out to drink with everyone at work.
Apparently, his boss heard what he was saying and...
You're the only person that she can count on, and you're over here complaining about her! You realize that she has every right to leave your ass!
He was someone who took great care of his wife, and when he goes home, he takes care of his wife who has disabilities.
He's normally so kind, and I've never seen him mad in my life.
Apparently, his boss yelled some sense into him.
I'm so sorry. I was always spoiled by you because you took care of everything for me.
I was saved by my husband finally taking my side after 10 long years. We spoke long and hard about what to do and slowly started solving each and every problem. Eventually, it was New Year's. Hey, you're giving Emmy New Year's money every year, right? This year,
Oh, I'm not gonna give her any. Like, she needs to learn.
we went to his parents' home after he was completely on my side.
Happy New Year's. Can I have my money now, bro?
After we got there, Emmy came running up to my husband and asking for money.
Emmy, like, you're not the age where you should be asking for money anymore.
My husband spoke and she looked upset for a split second, but then smiled again and,
Okay, then just loan me some like usual. It's New Year's and you know how it can be on your wallet, right?
she wouldn't stop asking, so eventually my husband responded calmly.
Let me explain something to you. We're not that rich. Like, we still want kids too. I can't give you money that I don't think I'll get back ever.
You're so mean. Akemi must have said something to you.
Emmy started screaming and summoned the final boss, her parents.
Hey, what's going on? It's New Year's. It's a fun time, so how about you be a little generous and give her some money?
Besides, it's your fault I can't see my grandchild. If you don't have money, live with us and you won't have to pay rent.
Of course, my in-laws took her side. However, my husband figured this would happen and created a document just in case.
Here. This is the amount of money that you took out from me after saying you'd pay me back. It's in 6 digits now. Like, when are you going to pay me back?
We had written down everything that we could remember to ask for her to pay us back.
I said I would pay you back after I get a promotion.
You don't find employment? You can't even keep a part-time job? Like, where are you gonna get promoted?
He blew up and she fell silent.
That means I can ask for interest too, right? Like, what's the yearly rate? The sum is huge, so I want to make it clear. Right here, right now!
My in-laws were also at a loss at the sudden turn of events.
Besides, the big reason that we don't have kids is because of me, not her. Like, I need to keep getting fertility treatments, so I don't have any money to give you, Emmy! What? Emmy? How dare you!
He's struggling so much and you're talking about New Year's money and allowances?
As soon as my husband came out and explained everything, my in-laws suddenly changed their tune. This time they started screaming at Emmy. She looked teary-eyed and was trying to find the right words. I decided to tell her something. It's fine, Emmy. You don't have to pay us back. Emmy suddenly lit up, but I wasn't done with what I wanted to say. Just pay your parents back in return. She must have been confused at what I was saying. Emmy and her parents were like deer in a headlight.
The money I was giving Emmy was money I was going to give you and Mom after you retired. This is the end of how we're going to support you.
What? Yuichi, what are you?
If something happens again, we're not going to help you. Also, we're definitely not going to live with you. Goodbye!
We left before they could say anything, and that was that. It was New Year, so we wanted to start anew. We changed our smartphone numbers on the way home. I was afraid they might come to our house, but they must have been busy with each other. We were able to spend New Year's peacefully and move to a new place.
This room looks nice.
Yeah, it's great. Let's live with the 3 of us. I didn't tell them, but I was pregnant with our first child. My husband kept continuing his fertility treatments, and because our relationship was much healthier, I was able to get out of my depression. I wonder if my stress was also affecting our fertility. Maybe this baby was just waiting until the right time. My stomach wasn't big yet, but I was ready to welcome the baby. My husband's work was also going well.
Otakebi! I just got transferred! Like, it's a great opportunity!
Really? So you're going to get paid more?
Of course I am! Now we don't have to worry about our money when we have a new kid!
When I asked about it some more, apparently that boss that scolded my husband was the one that ordered the transfer and promotion. He didn't give up on the fertility treatments, but he also didn't give up at work. We cut ties with our in-laws, and I want to continue to make our relationship stronger. And I will be sure to make my child independent and not leech like Emmy. I will swear to this. My name is Misa. I moved to the middle of nowhere for my husband's job. This town is very friendly and warm to newcomers. My husband wanted a child too, so I figured this would be a great place to raise a kid. I was having fun every day. Good day.
Hey, that store over there had onions on sale.
Wow, thank you for letting me know. As soon as we moved, I started working at a nursing home. I'm gonna lift you up now.
You're so kind.
I want you to be happy. My coworkers were also super kind, and I really enjoyed my job. There was a single mother at my workplace that I respected. I couldn't believe she was in her 30s and she had a great body.
I'm going to bake a cake later. Would you like to come over?
Of course. She would have parties every month or so and cook for everyone. I really admired her. It's so good! I could never bake this sort of food.
I'm glad you like it.
However, there was one thing that I was curious about with Miss Kana. It was that she had divorced once. How could someone so perfect be divorced?
I'm gonna go take in the laundry real quick.
You're wondering why she's divorced, huh?
Whoa, you scared me! Don't scare me like that!
I'll tell you. I'll tell you the tales of her divorce.
She really likes rumors. It's okay because it's interesting, but... While Kana's child was still in her belly,
It's getting so much bigger now.
Oh hey, one of my coworkers is coming over to drink, so can you make us some food?
her ex-husband would often bring over his coworkers and employees to drink at his home. He would force her to cook for them.
But I don't feel too well.
Alright, thank you. See ya.
He wouldn't listen and even consider divorce. However,
The baby is getting bigger and I don't feel too good all the time. I would like it if you kept inviting people over to a minimum.
Oh, that's true. Okay, I'll stop inviting them over then.
Thank you.
she decided to take him for his word. However, he only said the nice things that she wanted to hear. He kept drinking at their house. She continued to suffer.
What? Why did you bring them?
What? I have to bring them. It's called networking. Cook for us.
She also had more worries. This one person,
Your wife has been looking even better with her belly swelling. Dude, don't touch her. I won't touch her. Probably.
one of her husband's subordinates, Daiki, would always harass Miss Kana.
Come on, women are promiscuous by nature. Your wife even has a pretty big belly now. She might have gotten an egg donated and implanted. You should have her DNA test. I mean, it's not impossible. You can't let your guard down. How about you ask her? I couldn't ask. Hey, is that my baby in your stomach? Ah, you asked her!
They were always messing around with her, so she eventually exploded after not being able to resist anymore.
Shut the hell up! I'm sitting here listening and keeping my mouth shut, and you always take advantage of that! What the hell is wrong with you?
Ah, you're mad? Stay mad! You know I'm right.
What?
She's mad because it's a different father. You should definitely get a DNA test. Tell me, who's the dude you're having an affair with?
What are you talking about? Can you stop?
Woo! Get her! Beat it out of her!
She couldn't handle their verbal abuse anymore and ran out of the house.
Hey, where are you going?
I'm done with this! Thank you for all the great time together!
Aw, running away to your old partner, huh?
Kana left for her parents' house. She didn't hear anything from her husband for several months. The first time she heard from him was after she had the baby. It was right after she had sent him divorce papers.
I knew it wasn't my child! I'm going to be suing you!
Okay, let's have a DNA test.
Okay, I'm going to have them test you so that you can't make something up.
She used a test kit and the results were in. The results? Of course it was his.
Damn, you got lucky.
There was no kind husband from before getting married anymore. She was bone-chilling cold. They had a divorce. They knew who the baby was, and Kana had divorced her husband successfully. She also received quite a bit in damages. I see. That sounds rough.
What are you two talking about?
Oh, about your past with the whole husband thing. Misa wanted to know.
I'm sorry. I was just curious.
It's okay, I can laugh about it now.
It's a stable when it comes to Kana, but apparently that shithead employee went into hiding.
I sued that employee for defamation, but he said that he would pay me for damages in return for not going to court. As soon as I let the charges go, he disappeared and I couldn't find him anywhere. It was too much work trying to chase him down, so I just left it alone.
That's so wrong. I wonder what he looks like.
I have a picture of him with my ex. He's got a pretty punchable face. Oh, here it is.
Huh?
What?
This is my husband.
What?
Are you sure?
Look at this. I showed them my phone and Kana was shocked. The root of all of my coworkers' suffering was none other than my husband. I talked to Kana to confirm the timeline, and that's exactly when he was out drinking and moving for work. He said he was out drinking with clients, and he really just was going over to someone's house. Kana, you need to sue him, my husband.
It might be a mistake, though. Let's calm down first.
If I sue him, it'll affect you too. Let's make sure that there are no mistakes first.
I felt so bad for Kana and so hurt that my husband had hid this from me that I was about to explode from anger. We didn't even need to hire a PI after that.
What? How did you know where I was?
After he came home, I showed up with Kana at the door. He was losing his cool completely, so I left the house for Kana's. I have no intention of having kids with someone who treats a pregnant woman like trash. I'm going to divorce you! Kana helped me find a divorce lawyer, and we divorced. Afterwards, I went back to his parents' house and explained everything. They compensated her well. My ex-husband went back to middle of nowhere and was working in an office job with little to no pay.
I'm sorry for making you get a divorce too.
It's okay. I feel great. I wouldn't want to be married with someone who's willing to make fun of another pregnant woman with another life in her belly. My mother-in-law would always pester me to get a divorce.
You don't have kids after being married for so long. You can't do anything as a wife anyway. Why don't you divorce?
She just didn't like me. However, I wasn't the only one that was irritated by her. My sister-in-law's daughter, who was in middle school, was also fed up with her. She was always treated well by her grandmother, but she was even more tired of how she treated everyone else.
You need to have babies if you're a woman. You don't need education. Just leave high school and find some easy job to work.
My sister-in-law and her husband both work, so when I was off work, we often all ate together. It was separate before, but since we all live fairly close to each other, we would occasionally eat together too. It's better to eat with everyone, huh? The reason they were both working was because they wanted to build a house for their daughter, Mai. I wanted to help them out, and I also felt bad for my mother-in-law, who had also lost her husband a few years ago. I wanted them both to not feel so lonely, so I cooked every time. Dinner is served! However, of course she would complain here too.
Oh, this is gross. It's just salty. What a failure of a wife.
If you want to complain that much, let's just order delivery.
Don't spoil her. Wives are meant to be stressed. If you want to complain, get the hell out of this house.
Mai and I finally agreed to get revenge on her. We planned and decided to execute her plan when my sister-in-law was off work.
This is perfect.
Yeah, it's all up to your acting skills now. And then the day finally arrived.
I'm off for the first time in a while. You should take a rest. I can make something.
I turned her offer down, and you're probably tired all the time from working. I'm used to cooking. I said that in front of my mother-in-law on purpose.
Yeah, you should take Erica for a word. Just let her do the crappy work. You just rest.
She said, ordering me around like a slave. By the way, she's doing her best to try to be on her daughter's good side because she wants to move in with them when they build a house. That night, everyone was at the dinner table again. I brought my pot from the house and I had prepped it. I had curry put out. It was her favorite, seafood curry. It didn't matter though.
Gross! Yuck! How could you make something so vile? I feel so bad for my son having to eat this crap all the time. You don't have kids and you can't cook.
She started complaining as usual. As she kept spewing her poison, Mai put her spoon on the table and started sobbing loudly.
What? Why? That's so mean!
She looked at Mai and was clearly thrown off.
What's wrong?
She was bawling and ran away.
I made it for you! I hate you! Grandma! I hate you!
She screamed and ran out of the house.
What? What?
While she was standing there confused, Mai actually made this curry. You always complain about my food, so Mai said that she would make it for me. Then I left to chase after Mai.
My!
Then my sister-in-law, surprised by her daughter's crying, chased after her as well. Then we decided to explain everything to her mother about why we had decided to do this at all.
Grandma always making fun of Erica and says terrible things about her, so I wanted to make dinner.
Really?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to let this happen to Mai.
What do you mean? You're saying Mom is being a terrible person to Erica?
My sister-in-law knew that this wasn't something to be shrugged off, so she called her husband up and took Mai and my husband to talk in front of my mother-in-law.
Mom, explain yourself.
She kept complaining and
I didn't mean to.
coming up with bullshit excuses, but my sister-in-law and her husband were of course furious.
We're not going to have dinner together ever again, and we're definitely not going to live with you.
She proclaimed. Of course, the excuses started flying out at light speed after she realized she wouldn't be able to live with them.
Wait, hang on! I really thought that Erica had made that curry!
She said, which led to my husband now getting involved and becoming furious with her.
You hang on a second! You're saying it's okay to say vile things if Erica made it? What the hell is wrong with you?
What? Oh,
I didn't tell my husband about anything that happened because I felt bad for her losing her husband and living alone. But of course, this was all news to him and he was furious.
Was this always the case?
Actually, I let out a tear or two go too, and of course all of us collectively decided that we would be putting some distance between us and her.
I'm sorry, Erica. I didn't realize that you were going through it. If something happens like this again, let me know. My mom has Dad's inheritance and can live alone fine. She'll be okay.
He was completely on my side. Then we spent our days without any of the nagging from my mother-in-law. Of course, our families still had dinner sometimes and ate food together.
The plan works.
I know, right? I'm so glad we watched a bunch of heart-moving movies for that day. Your acting was perfect. Mai looked proud and said,
I just kept remembering all the movies while she was complaining.
as she chuckled. Perfect actress. Mom calmed down a little bit and never interacted with Mai. Mai has gone on to graduate from a great college and is working now.
Work is seriously fun.
I'm Sayuri. I'm in my late 20s. I live by myself. I was always busy with work. One weekend, I was going back to my hometown to visit my parents, so I called on my old friend Sayaka. We decided to grab some drinks to catch up. But then...
Sayaka told me you were coming home for the weekend. Can I join you guys? Oh, and let's invite Mina too.
Ah, sounds good. Can't wait. I became friends with Sayaka, Yuri, and Mina in college. We were all from the same city. After college, I moved, so I haven't seen them in a while. Yuri got married and had kids right after college. She was always busy. And I heard Mina got engaged. I was really looking forward to seeing them all. Then, a few days later, we all met up at a cafe. It was so good to see them, but then...
I still can't believe you're getting married, Mina. I thought you never get married.
Why not? Don't be rude, Yuri.
Yeah, we've been going out for 3 years now, so we thought it was time.
Mino seemed really happy. I was so happy for her. But then...
Oh, is that so? But the thing is, I know you've been seeing my husband.
What did she say? Sayaka and I froze up. We didn't know what to say.
When I was pregnant with my second child, my husband was acting all weird, so I looked into them. I saw the text, Mina. I didn't think it was you at first. There are lots of people named Mina, so I got my friend to dig deeper and I got pictures of you, lots of it. Ugh. He means nothing to me now. I'm leaving him. I'm gonna see you for damages too, Mina. I wanted to tell you in person. It's not like that! Oh yeah? What's it like then?
Yuri was pissed. Sayaka and I just sat there in silence. Mina started shaking uncontrollably.
I saw your husband at the wedding and he looked really nice. And I ran into him one day on my way home from work and we went to dinner together. Then we kind of got drunk and, just stop. Please don't tell anyone. I'll pay you every dime.
Mina said to her, but then... Seriously? Yuri started laughing out loud.
You ruined my family. You really think I'm gonna let you get married? Huh, think again.
I'm sorry. Please don't tell my fiance. I'll do anything.
Oh, about that. Too late. I already told him. I sent him all the pictures too.
Mina's phone has been ringing non-stop. It was probably her fiance. Mina started freaking out. She grabbed her phone and ran out of the store.
My lawyer will contact you soon. See you in court. Bye!
Yuri said to Mina with a big smile on her face. It was kind of scary. Then, she turned around and apologized to us.
Sorry you two had to see that. I'm really sorry.
It's okay.
What just happened? I got married right after college, so I've never had a job. So I wasn't sure if I could make it as a single mom at first, but now I'm sure. I know it won't be easy, but I'm gonna do everything I can.
So now, Yuri was going to become a single mom with 2 kids. I live a few hours away, but if you need anything, all you gotta do is ask.
Yeah, same here. If you ever need anything, you know you can count on us.
We told Yuri that we were there for her. A few weeks later, everyone around Mina found out about what she was up to. Turns out she's been doing this for a while now. Her parents, her fiance, and her parents-in-law were all furious with her. She had to pay tens of thousands of dollars in damages. She was up to her neck in debt now. She had no choice but to quit her job and get a job as a hostess. Yuri got a divorce. Her ex-husband and Mina paid her in full. She got a full-time job and started working. Her parents lived nearby, so they helped her with things around the house. A few months later, I went to visit my parents again. One evening, I called up Sayaka and went out to grab a few drinks. I still can't believe Mina was seeing Yuri's husband.
Yeah, but I actually saw them once. I had a meeting at this hotel and, as I was leaving, I saw them. They were checking in. They were all over each other. I wasn't sure if it was them at first, but...
Was it?
Yeah, I told Yuri right away and everything checked out.
I see.
Yeah.
Sayaka was one of my best friends, so I enjoyed spending time with her, but... knowing that the 4 of us will never hang out again kinda made me sad.
My name is Daiichi Yamada. I work as a nurse in my late 20s. However, I won't argue that male nursing is still not widely accepted. The first time I started working at a private hospital, I was having some private trouble. I still worked for 5 years, but I ended up leaving. I was afraid of being unemployed, so I started looking for another job. A male nurse, huh? I'd love a person in your position to work for us. It was a nursing home for elderly people with dementia. I was going to be working nights, unlike my previous job. But I was fine with it, so I accepted the position. A year flew by, and I was a little annoyed by the reverse time schedule. But I got used to it. I get a lot of benefits, and the pay is decent, so I don't mind moving. But I'm basically here only to go to sleep. I've been working hard from my apartment for my tech school days. My parents talk occasionally about what's been going on, but it was tough to really visit them when I worked as a nurse. It was almost New Year's Eve, but my parents understood that I was busy.
You just take care of yourself.
They never really pestered me to go home. Then one day, right around lunchtime, I was getting ready for my next night shift when the doorbell would not stop going off. When I looked outside, I noticed a pair of young men I'd never seen before. If this is something to do with religion, I'm not interested. If this is something to do with religion, I'm not interested. Mr. Daiichi Yamada, you've been a shut-in for over a year, right? We are with a group who are supporting those who need help as shut-ins. Please open your door. Shut-in support? What the hell are they talking about? I work almost every day, so I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I've always been an indoor type, and I always buy all my stuff online, so it's true that I don't really walk outside often. But I'm not a shut-in. I just work night shifts. Please go home. However, they wouldn't give up and kept saying, open the door. And then...
Daiichi, it's your auntie.
I heard a woman on the other side of the door. There are a lot of things that happen in life, but... Then I heard an older man. I knew immediately it was my uncle and aunt on my dad's side. You're apparently a shut-in during New Year's, too.
Mom said that you were busy, but we know the truth.
What's the truth? They used to always look after me as a kid, but they must have really been mistaken. No, I have a job. I'll even show you my pay stub. I cracked the door open and wanted to hand them my pay stub, but the support agents? They suddenly came pushing into the house. Whoa, what the hell? At least take your shoes off! It's fine. We're your allies. Don't worry. You don't have to run. Look, you don't have a single suit or dress wear for work. No, I work as a nurse. I have my uniforms cleaned at work. My job was to keep everything clean, so they had our uniforms taken to a special cleaners. Once a week, they would give us just enough for the week after they were all sterilized. After our work was over, the sterilization companies would take them in a bag. I would go to work in my personal clothes, and so I didn't have any uniforms at home. I explained it, but my aunt and uncle, along with the agents, didn't listen. They didn't even look at my pay stub. The agents? You just need to get your clothes and leave. They were just trying to drag me out of my own home. I was starting to get pissed after they rummaged through my apartment. What the hell? You come into my house without permission? I'm going to call the police! They said that there was no point since it was a private matter, but I ignored them and called the police.
They won't take your side as a shut-in.
Yeah, you really need to stop embarrassing yourself. They kept talking about crap, but 2 police officers showed up. They called my place of work and confirmed that I was indeed employed there. Then they took my side, of course. This gentleman is employed and just came home this morning. But okay, whatever. You're trespassing. And that's that. So let's go have a talk. One of the officers asked for backup as he chased off the agents and my aunt and uncle. The last officer that remained asked me more details, but I really didn't understand what was going on either, so I couldn't really help him out. If something happens again, we'll reach out to you. He must have caught on to my tired look. He let me go in a few minutes. I went back to rest before going to my night shift. The next day, right after my night shift, my father called me this time. My brother and his wife. They're apparently in some kind of organization. They're also in debt. I'm not sure how being in debt and being in some kind of weird support group has anything to do with each other. There wasn't any other evidence of other crimes being committed, so they were released from custody. Luckily, they didn't know where I worked or the name of my place of employment, so even if they came after me, I wasn't too worried. It wouldn't be crazy for them to show up again. I was terrified and asked my parents to move away quickly. I'm so glad I didn't waste my money. I have some money to spend. I didn't have much luggage, so I didn't need a big package for movers. My new address was going to be a monthly apartment that one of my employers ran on the side. He said that there was an opening and that he would be fine with me moving immediately. I got closer to my place of work, and now I can sleep more. I started living at my new place, but a few days later,
Mr. Yamada, are you okay? I have to tell you something.
my building manager called me and told me that someone had broken into my old apartment.
It was the 2nd floor and they broke the windows. Someone had called the police.
They must have kept coming for me. I feel a little bad for them, but I'm glad I moved quick. I asked my parents to handle the rest, as I had to sleep for my next shift. I heard from my parents later on, but apparently those agents were legitimate organization staff. My aunt and uncle wanted them to come inside and steal my stuff, while they were shuffling through my things. I received a formal apology from their organization leader, and they said they would cover all of the moving fees and pay for damages. I was a little scared at how they were acting, but I mean, they might also be the victims here. My aunt and uncle were the ones that ended up breaking into my empty apartment. They were finally arrested and taken to jail for a little longer. Apparently they had donated a lot to their organization, and the New Year's that I didn't go home, they were begging my parents for money. My parents of course turned them down, but they figured out that I was a nurse, and they had known that it was their chance. If we can't contribute, we'll be cut from the org!
What are we going to do?
Apparently my relatives cut all ties with them after that, but I don't know if they care.
My mother-in-law became bedridden 2 years ago. My husband was always busy with work, and I didn't have kids, so I took care of her on my own. How was today's lunch?
It's gross. Make me another dish.
She was always a little proud, so she didn't like being taken care of me in the first place.
This pillow is too hard.
Huh? But you said you liked it hard yesterday.
Every day I want a different pillow. Go buy me a new pillow.
She would constantly complain about everything. I couldn't always take care of her every day, so twice a week I have her going to a care center. However, she hated dealing with people.
The staff there are all terrible. Still better than you, though.
As soon as I got home, she would start the complaining, so that wasn't really a solution either. Hey, about the 3-day weekend, can you help me take care of your mother for one of those days? I asked him carefully.
What? Nursing someone is your job as a wife, too? Why do I have to do that when I work?
Of course, I didn't expect anything else from him. But she's your mother. She's sad because she barely gets any time with you.
I want to help out too, but if I don't work, I'm going to be fired. You gotta understand.
But you always play golf on the weekends. Is that part of your job?
Of course it is. Bye.
I can only be alone in the bath or in the toilet. I took a deep breath in the bath, but moments later... Roar! Oh, great. Here we go again. I could hear some beast roaring, and that meant that I had to wipe off and go immediately. You're late, Saki! I'm sorry, I was bathing. I don't care what's going on. If I call you, you come. What are you gonna do if something happens to me? I mean, that's kind of true, but... The one nice thing was that she would go to sleep early. I'm so tired. Takashi is out with work too, so I should be able to go to sleep sooner than usual. But then I heard the doorbell ring out of nowhere. What? You're kidding!
I'm home.
I thought you were on a business trip?
Nah, I couldn't because of a client canceling. Dinner?
What? You didn't eat something? You want me to cook now?
Of course I do. You have to always be prepared as a wife.
That's not fair. I was choking. While my mother-in-law was at the elderly home, I would have lunch with friends, which was one of the few moments I could really refresh. If I didn't complain sometimes, I would lose my sanity. I see. That's really tough. Yeah, my husband doesn't care and she's always complaining.
My friend also takes care of her mother, but on the weekends, her husband helps her out too.
Lucky her. I just want to disappear. I was surprised by the terrible thing I was saying in this fancy store.
Saki.
Huh? I lifted up my head.
You're really acting like you want attention with all that complaining. You used to be way more positive. There's definitely light at the end of the tunnel. How about asking around for help?
She cheered me on while giving me a nice little kick in the butt. You're right. I'll see what I can do. I thanked her and left. On the way home... Okay, I'm not going to be Takashi or Mom's slave anymore. I'm not just going to be attention-seeking. I called my sister for the first time in a while. She lived in Tokyo. Hey, Saki, what's up? Rare of you to call me. No, it's rare for you to actually answer in one call. I mean, I'm taking a late lunch break. She moved to Tokyo and is working hard on her career. She's almost always busy, even during the New Year's and long weekends. She could even make it to the relatives these past few years, and it was even rare that she actually picked up. So, what's up? My mother-in-law has been bedridden for about 2 years now. I explained everything up until that point. That's terrible! You haven't done anything wrong. You've done a great job up until this point. I remember her smile and tears just wouldn't stop coming out. You should have asked me for help sooner. Alright, I live alone over here, so you can come over for a while. Come over? What? I thought that she would give me some kind of advice, but this was news to me. Tokyo? Having rent with you? But you're in Tokyo. It's still expensive, right? I was confused at how fast everything was moving. Just take care of the house, okay? Don't worry about the money. You've always kept things to yourself since we were young. I'm sure you having something to do will make you feel more comfortable. She's my sister, all right. She must have seen right through me. Tokyo, this might be my chance to restart. I started taking everything into action. Before my mother-in-law came back from the elderly home, I started typing away. This is my final act of kindness. That night, after I finished taking care of my mother-in-law, I waited for Takashi to make it home.
I'm hot.
Here, take this. Read it. Bye.
What? What is this?
I forced Takashi to take a file and I ran out of the house quickly.
Hey, Saki, where are you going?
Takashi was confused at everything happening so fast. He looked like a deer in headlights watching me run away. Sis, I'm coming. I headed to the station and got on the train headed to Tokyo.
What is this file?
Thank you for all the great times. I don't think we can live a happy life together anymore. I have all the directions to take care of Mom and some other paperwork for her benefits. Goodbye. Saki, the pillow is hard again. Hurry up.
What? Saki left. What do you want me to do?
Roar! Roar!
Mom, shut up!
I went straight to my sister's house, as planned, and started living life in Tokyo.
Why don't you start off by getting some certifications? Just figure out what you want to do and make that your job. Then you can be independent. You can stay here till you're on track.
Thanks, sis. Seriously.
Takashi and Mom, who were abandoned by me on the other hand.
Hey, is dinner ready yet?
Mom, hang on! I just got home! How am I supposed to have food ready? This wasn't supposed to be how things went!
I'm sure he's experiencing how difficult everything was now. Today was great too. I'm gonna go have dinner with friends tonight. I found employment in Tokyo and was enjoying my new life. It's been a while. She called me attention-seeking and gave me a push. My friend is visiting Tokyo. I wonder how she'll react when she sees the new me. I can't help but be excited. I'm Sayaka. I'm an ordinary housewife in her 20s. The other day, my husband's older brother got married. He was always saying,
I hate smart girls. I like my women nice and stupid.
And the other day, when I saw him at his parents' house,
You're so reliable, baby. I love you.
Good. You're dumb as a rock, but no worries. I'll protect you.
it looked like she really loved him. Looks like he found his dream girl. In a way, they were perfect for each other. But these two, for some reason, they didn't like me very much. For instance, just the other day,
Hey, did you hear the news? There was a big earthquake up north.
she was saying to her husband, that was like a year ago. I think you're reading an article from an old newspaper, I said to her. But then her husband said to me,
Jeez, sorry. You think you're so smart, don't you? You're always pointing out people's mistakes like that. What did my brother see in you anyways? You're so condescending.
he said to me,
What does condescending mean?
Don't worry about it, baby. Just know that I love you.
Thanks, baby. Mwah.
she was so stupid. I couldn't stand them, to be honest. Ugh, get a room. I hated being around them. I told my husband what happened when I got home.
Ugh, they're so dumb. Just ignore them.
You're right. I couldn't stand them, but he was right. It was best to ignore them. But then, a few days later,
Come over right now. We need your help.
what? What happened?
Just come. Hurry.
She was freaking out, so we drove her to my in-laws' house. And when we got there,
But bugs are gross.
Stop talking, idiot! Just apologize!
whoa, I'm yelling! Everyone was yelling at each other.
What's going on here?
Yeah, settle down. It was a mess. They were all yelling at each other. We told them to settle down. Then they told us what happened. Long story short, my brother-in-law's wife was an idiot. Turns out she didn't know what silk was made from. One day, she found this nice kimono at her husband's parents' house.
So pretty.
So she took it home with her and tried to put it on. It said 100% silk, but she didn't know what silk was, so she Googled it. Then,
Silk is an animal fiber made from the viscous fluid of the silkworm. Worms? Gross.
then she chopped up the kimono and threw it out.
I'm home.
Hey, baby, listen. Something really gross happened to me today.
Oh yeah? What happened?
So she told him about the kimono. He panicked. He wanted to get the kimono from the garbage can, but it was too late. He started freaking out. Turns out this kimono was really expensive, and it was passed down through generations, but now it was ruined.
What have you done? Ugh.
Why are you so mad? What did I do?
He told his parents about what happened right away. He apologized to them over and over again, but it didn't matter. They were furious with them. They started yelling at them. What's going on?
Everything okay?
They were really loud. They woke some of their neighbors. Then she called me in. Well, you know the rest. You didn't know what silk was made from? I don't even know what to say to that.
But it's made from bugs, right? That's so gross. Ugh.
Shut up, idiot! Yeah, stop talking!
But I hate bugs.
Is she being serious? How stupid is she?
That kimono was passed down from your great-grandmother, right? What a shame.
Nobody took her side, not even the neighbors.
But I didn't know. I said I'm sorry.
That's not good enough!
Yeah, what the hell is wrong with you?
Forget it. I'm leaving. I don't need this right now.
She snapped and ran back to her parents' house. But then, a few hours later,
Our daughter told us everything. We're so sorry.
her parents came to apologize. They got down on the floor and begged for forgiveness. It was a mess. Ugh. But she didn't apologize. She just stood there looking pissed. They had a long talk after that. A few hours later, they came to a decision. My husband's brother's wife had to get a job to pay for damages.
They want me to get
the job. What the hell did I do? For some reason, she called me to complain. So I just said to her, good luck. Then I hung up and blocked her number. Chopping up a nice kimono was one thing, but she took it without telling them. That's stealing. I want nothing to do with this woman. My husband was upset too.
She said it wasn't stealing because it was family now, but... Ugh.
We were both pretty frustrated, so I made us some coffee to relax. And to our surprise, my husband's brother didn't get a divorce. Why? Well...
Can she move in with you? Maybe you guys can teach her some manners. Move in with us? Hell no! She's your problem now!
Their parents started fighting, but then...
Dad, it's fine. She's my responsibility. I'll take care of everything.
Oh, darling.
I guess he really loved her. Whatever. I guess he really likes his women dumb. I guess he meant what he said. Anyways, we decided to keep our distance from them. We didn't want anything to do with them anymore.
My name is Daiichi Yamada. I work as a nurse in my late 20s. However, I won't argue that male nursing is still not widely accepted. The first time I started working at a private hospital, I was having some private trouble. I still worked for 5 years, but I ended up leaving. I was afraid of being unemployed, so I started looking for another job. A male nurse, huh? I'd love a person in your position to work for us. It was a nursing home for elderly people with dementia. I was going to be working nights, unlike my previous job. But I was fine with it, so I accepted the position. A year flew by, and I was a little annoyed by the reverse time schedule. But I got used to it. I get a lot of benefits, and the pay is decent, so I don't mind moving. But I'm basically here only to go to sleep. I've been working hard from my apartment for my tech school days. My parents talk occasionally about what's been going on, but it was tough to really visit them when I worked as a nurse. It was almost New Year's Eve, but my parents understood that I was busy.
You just take care of yourself.
They never really pestered me to go home. Then one day, right around lunchtime, I was getting ready for my next night shift when the doorbell would not stop going off. When I looked outside, I noticed a pair of young men I'd never seen before. If this is something to do with religion, I'm not interested. If this is something to do with religion, I'm not interested. Mr. Daiichi Yamada, you've been a shut-in for over a year, right? We are with a group who are supporting those who need help as shut-ins. Please open your door. Shut-in support? What the hell are they talking about? I work almost every day, so I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I've always been an indoor type, and I always buy all my stuff online, so it's true that I don't really walk outside often. But I'm not a shut-in. I just work night shifts. Please go home. However, they wouldn't give up and kept saying, open the door. And then...
Daiichi, it's your auntie.
I heard a woman on the other side of the door. There are a lot of things that happen in life, but... Then I heard an older man. I knew immediately it was my uncle and aunt on my dad's side. You're apparently a shut-in during New Year's, too.
Mom said that you were busy, but we know the truth.
What's the truth? They used to always look after me as a kid, but they must have really been mistaken. No, I have a job. I'll even show you my pay stub. I cracked the door open and wanted to hand them my pay stub, but the support agents? They suddenly came pushing into the house. Whoa, what the hell? At least take your shoes off. It's fine. We're your allies. Don't worry. You don't have to run. Look, you don't have a single suit or dress wear for work. No, I work as a nurse. I have my uniforms cleaned at work. My job was to keep everything clean, so they had our uniforms taken to a special cleaners. Once a week, they would give us just enough for the week after they were all sterilized. After our work was over, the sterilization companies would take them in a bag. I would go to work in my personal clothes, and so I didn't have any uniforms at home. I explained it, but my aunt and uncle, along with the agents, didn't listen. They didn't even look at my pay stub. The agents? You just need to get your clothes and leave. They were just trying to drag me out of my own home. I was starting to get pissed after they rummaged through my apartment. What the hell? You come into my house without permission? I'm going to call the police! They said that there was no point since it was a private matter, but I ignored them and called the police.
They won't take your side as a shut-in.
Yeah, you really need to stop embarrassing yourself. They kept talking about crap, but 2 police officers showed up. They called my place of work and confirmed that I was indeed employed there. Then they took my side, of course. This gentleman is employed and just came home this morning. But... Okay, whatever. You're trespassing. And that's that. So let's go have a talk. One of the officers asked for backup as he chased off the agents and my aunt and uncle. The last officer that remained asked me more details, but I really didn't understand what was going on either. So I couldn't really help him out. If something happens again, we'll reach out to you. He must have caught on to my tired look. He let me go in a few minutes. I went back to rest before going to my night shift. The next day, right after my night shift, my father called me this time. My brother and his wife. They're apparently in some kind of organization. They're also in debt. I'm not sure how being in debt and being in some kind of weird support group has anything to do with each other. There wasn't any other evidence of other crimes being committed, so they were released from custody. Luckily, they didn't know where I worked or the name of my place of employment, so even if they came after me, I wasn't too worried. It wouldn't be crazy for them to show up again. I was terrified and asked my parents to move away quickly. I'm so glad I didn't waste my money. I have some money to spend. I didn't have much luggage, so I didn't need a big package for movers. My new address was going to be a monthly apartment that one of my employers ran on the side. He said that there was an opening, and that he would be fine with me moving immediately. I got closer to my place of work, and now I can sleep more. I started living at my new place, but a few days later,
Mr. Yamada, are you okay? I have to tell you something.
my building manager called me and told me that someone had broken into my old apartment.
It was the second floor and they broke the windows. Someone had called the police.
They must have kept coming for me. I feel a little bad for them, but I'm glad I moved quick. I asked my parents to handle the rest, as I had to sleep for my next shift. I heard from my parents later on, but apparently those agents were legitimate organization staff. My aunt and uncle wanted them to come inside and steal my stuff, while they were shuffling through my things. I received a formal apology from their organization leader, and they said they would cover all of the moving fees and pay for damages. I was a little scared at how they were acting, but I mean, they might also be the victims here. My aunt and uncle were the ones that ended up breaking into my empty apartment. They were finally arrested and taken to jail for a little longer. Apparently they had donated a lot to their organization, and the New Year's that I didn't go home, they were begging my parents for money. My parents of course turned them down, but they figured out that I was a nurse, and they had known that it was their chance. If we can't contribute, we'll be cut from the org!
What are we going to do?
Apparently my relatives cut all ties with them after that, but I don't know if they care.
I have a great ramen store that my husband and I love. It's a private-run store that's calm and quiet. It wasn't popular enough to be on TV, but a lot of the locals definitely loved it. It was just delicious ramen. Almost every weekend, both of us ate there and...
RomCom! This is the store I was telling you about.
Wow, it smells so good!
A couple, who looked like they were college students, walked into the store. The boyfriend was tall and seemed to be a relaxed, good-looking dude. The girl was also fancy and fit. If I was a man, I'd love to protect her. They seemed to be perfect for each other. The couples ended up sitting next to us. The boyfriend must have been here a few times.
You might not eat too many really strong ramen bowls, but this one is really good. So I wanted to bring you.
He was talking to her like he had known.
I'll pay for your meal today, so choose whatever one you want to try.
Yay! I'm so happy. What should I eat?
She didn't seem to dislike the ramen at all. She was smiling at the menu and... being young is so nice. I was smiling about them. I wasn't the only one that felt that way.
Dang, my ramen's gonna get cold.
My husband stopped eating to look, and the store owner was watching the couple too. It was really a warm sight to see. That suddenly changed when the store owner tried to take their order.
What are you having? I'd like the regular pork broth. What about you, Miku?
I want the premium with all of the toppings. Extra large pork broth, please.
What? Huh?
She was right about it being premium because it included the most noodles out of all of the items on the menu. I had seen a pretty big athletic guy try it once before.
Phew, I'm so full. This is extra large, isn't it? Maybe so. Was that enough? Of course it was. I'm about to explode.
Wow, he finished it. He looks pretty full though. The menu had a picture on it and she must have known how much was in the meal. I don't see how a skinny girl like her could finish the meal.
Miku, you probably can't finish this. I've never seen any woman finish this dish.
They try to stop her, but
No, this looks the best. I want this one. Is that a no?
she kept begging him, being cutesy.
I'm not saying no, but...
The store owner went out back and grabbed the bowl.
I make the premium bowl using this, but once I'm done putting everything on it, it's going to be about this tall. Are you sure you got this?
He was trying to convince her with visuals.
Miku, it's your first time eating here. Why don't you get a regular size first? If you like it, I'll come back and buy you the premium, okay?
He's so nice and smart. I was listening in while being moved by how much of a gentleman he was. But she wouldn't back down. She puffed up her face like a child. I think that ramen was like 2,000 yen. It's almost twice as expensive as the rest, but I don't think that's the problem here. I was covering for him in my heart, but he gave in.
Okay. I'll have that then. Okay.
Yay! Thank you! And that's how she got what she wanted.
Here you go!
The premium all sides on showed up to her. Oh my god, it's huge! We had finished eating, but we stuck around to see what happened. She started taking photos of the bowl. From the top, from the front, from the side, she had done this before.
It's so big! It looks so good! Thank you!
She took a bite, ecstatic.
Yeah, this is good! I think I can finish it all!
Maybe she's some kind of food fighter? But
I'm so full! I'm done!
she took her time, but she really took a few bites and finished. Maybe she was just trying to pretend like she tried to eat it. He had finished his food first and looked completely emotionless from the result. The warm, gentle boyfriend had disappeared and I almost felt afraid. He quietly stood up and put 5,000 yen on the counter.
Thank you for the food. Sorry she didn't finish your bowl. And I'm sorry for being wasteful. I don't need change. Huh?
He left from the store. The girl and the store manager both looked at a loss for words. I understand how angry he is, but I'm sure he was more sad than anything. She finally understood what had just happened, but
Wait!
she was screaming something else while chasing him. The manager also had changed and was running to him. We had finished our meal, but we were stranded in his restaurant. I hope he can break up with her with no drama.
Yeah, I'm sure a man like that won't have any problem finding a better girl in no time. This ramen is great though.
We prayed for his success while waiting for the store owner to come back.
Thanks for watching! Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Bye!